After Neymar, all eyes are now on PSG. Although their season may have started, there's still a lot of intrigue as to how they'll line up after the Brazilian's high-profile arrival. Here's how we see the club's strongest 11, and we've also thrown in one new potential transfer, so make sure you stick around for that. As always, let's start between the sticks, where it's either Alphonso Areola or Kevin Trapp. But let's start with Trapp. The German has had some good moments at PSG and has impressed some high-profile guests at the Parc des Princes like Rihanna. But every time Trapp looks ready to make the #1 place his own, he seems to spoil it with a high-profile howler. Check out this horror show against Spurs in pre-season, for example. Areola, meanwhile, has also had his chances, having put together a run of multiple games in the 2016-17 season ahead of Trapp before losing his place in the back half of the campaign. He hasn't been pictured with Rihanna as far as we know, but he still has shown he may be capable of one day holding down a starting place. Complicating things somewhat here is PSG's long-held interest in Jan Oblak. We think the club will give the current duo an opportunity to press their claims. So who gets the first opportunity? It's going to be bad news for Trapp, unfortunately. And while Rihanna's one of his biggest fans, it's going to be Alphonso Areola in between the sticks, at least for now. So let's move forward to the defence in front of them, where we see things a little more straightforward. PSG actually have 3 quality candidates at right back: Thomas Meunier, Serge Aurier and new man Dani Alves. Aurier, however, looks set for an exit, with Premier League clubs battling over his signature despite a fairly colourful off-field reputation that includes a famous rant slamming then-coach Laurent Blanc and several high-profile teammates. Belgian Meunier, meanwhile, has been solid when called upon, but we don't see him ahead of Dani Alves. Even at 34, the Brazilian remains a star player and personality, and we don't see anything standing in his way at right back at this stage. Now to the central defence. Meunier can provide a great backup, but 21-year-old Presnel Kimpembe isn't quite ready. So for us, there's only 2 people to start in this PSG strongest 11. Captain Thiago Silva and fellow Brazilian Marquinhos. These two know each other like brothers, each a full package at the back, and yet also complementing each other perfectly. As you were then. Finally to left back, where one man breaks up this Samba-style defence. It won't be another new man in Yuri Bacici, despite PSG splashing out £14 million from the Spaniard from Real Sociedad. No, while he's sure to get his share of minutes, we predict it'll be Layvin Kurzawa who takes his place. The French international has plenty of experience already at 24 and should be entering the best seasons of his career. Kurzawa reads the game well and loves to get forward when things break his way. With his passing and crossing ability, he should have some fun feeding PSG's front line this season. So that's the defence. What did you think? Did we get it right? Whilst you contemplate that, we'll move on to the midfield. We have 4 candidates for these 2 positions. Let's list them quickly. Thiago Motta, Adrien Rabiot, Marco Verratti, Blaise Matuidi and Grzegorz Krychowiak. Okay, let's be honest here. Krychowiak has a small chance of playing any football, which is incredible considering the £30 million PSG spent on him before the start of last season. After making a fairly poor fist of his early season opportunities, Krychowiak fell completely out of favour in the second half of the campaign. So far, his rather rubbish time on the pitch for PSG has cost the club, in transfer fees alone, just under £30,000 a minute. So he's out. What about the others? Tough choice, but we don't see a place for Motta here, though he'll be plenty of use come this season. Even tougher choice, we also don't see a place for Blaise Matuidi. The Frenchman had a poor season in 2016-17, earning a lot of blame for PSG's problems. With the likes of Juve interested, there might even be a chance he moves on. So that leaves us with Verratti and Rabiot here. The first picks himself. Verratti is the heart of this side, combining his reading of the play and superb vision and skill with a fight lacking in far bigger players. He's occasionally angry and occasionally reckless, but we love him all the same, as do PSG and the likes of Barcelona, for example. Next to him is Rabiot, who last season finally got the regular first team place he and his mother were after. He still has something to prove. PSG are aware they need a world-class player in every position of the pitch, but the opportunity is there for the elegant 22-year-old. Now to the front half, with 4 positions to fill and a lot of players vying for it. Who will come out this traffic jam with a place to park? We'll find out. We're not short on candidates here, and some quality players will definitely miss out. Out of the running are Hatem Ben Arfa and Hesse, with both finding the step up to PSG ultimately too much. Hesse's most likely destination seems to be Spain, even despite an average loan spell at Las Palmas last season. Absent from PSG training, his £22.5 million fee in 2016 seems a massive waste of cash. Ben Arfa, meanwhile, seems in limbo. Former club Nice have ruled out a return, but he's unlikely to find any joy by staying in Paris. Who else can we rule out? Guedes is still just 20, but may struggle to find anything more than a few minutes here and there, which makes his £27 million fee in January rather strange. On the right side of the attacking four, we see Angel Di Maria as the man. The veteran Argentine has played a part in 69 goals in just 91 appearances for PSG, and he should enjoy playing with a certain new Brazilian this season. A quick hint, we're not talking about Dani Alves. But what of the left-hand side? There is a real battle for this place, with Javier Pastore, Julian Draxler, Lucas and Giovanni Lo Celso vying for it. The latter is probably more loan material than starter, to be frank. Lucas, meanwhile, finds as little joy here as he did competing with Di Maria, despite his considerable talent and the fact he's contributed almost 100 goals in just over 200 games for PSG. Like a few of his teammates, we predict his future may actually lie away from Paris. That leaves Draxler and Pastore, and despite Emery's love for the latter, we're going to give it to the German. 10 goals and 3 assists in 25 games after his move from Wolfsburg earned him the opportunity here, but he'll have no time to relax with Pastore's quality lurking close by. Now to our second last position, which goes to the biggest name at the club. And if you don't know who we're talking about, you probably live under a rock. It's Neymar. The Brazilian claimed that the project, not the money, brought him to PSG. So we're asking, what kind of role will he play in this supposed project? We predict a free role for the forward, playing off the shoulder of the man leading PSG's line, who we'll get to in a bit. But also with a licence to roam around that forward half, Neymar plays his best football when he kept things simple at Barca, so that will be important. But either way, it will be a lot of fun to watch him find his place at PSG, or rather, watching the team find theirs around their new superstar teammate. Finally, our last place in the PSG side. There's only one man at the club to fill this role, and that's Edinson Cavani. His staggering 49 goals in 50 games last season makes PSG the club for which he scored the most goals. Imagine if he'd actually scored all the other ones he should have. But while no one within the PSG squad will challenge Cavani here, is there someone who could arrive that will? Now here's our twist, and bear with us on this one. As we saw with Neymar, where there is smoke with PSG, there is often fire. And with reports Mbappe wants to join the club over the likes of Real Madrid, we're going to run with it. It seems unthinkable that PSG can manage to bring in the Monaco starter for the price his club want, but we all thought that about Neymar not so long ago. So we can see a small chance of this happening, and if it does, expect Cavani to have some trouble with a certain young Frenchman. So that's it, our strongest starting 11 for PSG this season. But what do you think? Did we get it right? Can Mbappe really lead the line? And can PSG win the Champions League? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe.